Good day and welcome to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami Hill Thomas. So glad you joined us today. A lot happening around the globe and nationally. So let's get started. We want to start our news today with the global focus. There has been a lot of news impacted around the world as Mother Nature has taken its course. And as always, we share with our brothers and sisters across the water how we can help our neighbors here and help you wherever you are. Today, we want to highlight the loss of life due to the Morocco earthquake. An earthquake in Morocco has claimed more than 3,000 individuals. The French president has shared that there have been many attempts to continue humanitarian efforts in Morocco to make sure that search and rescue teams are backed by the military to locate and airlift the wounded as soon as they are found. More than 5,000 individuals injured because this high 6-point magnitude earthquake hit this country. Sadly, days later, humanitarian efforts are continuing but seem to be bleak. So we submit our thoughts to those who are part of the Morocco country and those who are doing their best to assist with everything we can. The neighboring countries who stepped up, who government officials have said there have been plenty of unwarranted conversations these days, but it's more important that actions take precedence. The government agreed that this particular entity is in the earthquake zone, the southern tip of Morocco, but important that there be humanitarian aid to help those who have survived and those who they're continuing to hope are survivors. We also want to take this moment to highlight the flooding in Libya. Libya, who is an amazing country, has experienced over 10,000 people who died from flooding due to the dams breaking in the area. Can you imagine? Can you imagine almost 20,000 people because there are still 11,000 unaccounted for? Almost 20,000 people, whether confirmed dead or still searching, were in these towns as the dams broke and the towns were flooded. Our hearts go to our family in Libya because though they've confirmed those missing, can you imagine being a loved one who survived and searching for your family? Authorities warned at this point that not only are they still searching for loved ones, but they're concerned about diseases and even explosives that may have shifted during the flooding. Many resources in the area are doing all they can because as the two dams collapsed due to the heavy rains from the Mediterranean, that caused many cities to just wash away. The city of Derna being one. We again send our hearts and thoughts to those in Morocco dealing with an earthquake where over 5,000, 3,000, have been confirmed deceased. And then flooding in Libya, where they're trying to account for another 11,000, 10,000 already confirmed dead. How can you help? I'm glad you asked. UNICEF.org is one of the pioneers in working in countries that face disasters, especially with their focus of humanitarian aid. Might seem like small change to you, but could certainly impact and help the surrounding countries to airlift, to drop food and supplies in those particular countries. Feel free to donate, Google, even do research for UNICEF and how you can help. As we've shared what Morocco has faced with the earthquake, what Libya has faced with their flooding, We also remember those who continue to fight wildfires in Canada. More than 100 wildfires continue to rage more than 5 months later. Not just the fact that they're dealing with the resources, the firefighting, the airlifting of water, all that they're trying to do to fight the blaze and keep it from spreading any further, but those Canadians who have to breathe in that poor air quality. They are our brothers and sisters and need your help. Also consider the United Nations Foundation. The three areas that we have highlighted are important on the United Nations agenda as the global watchdog for humanitarian aid. Again, your small percentage may seem that to you and is still tax deductible, but can help drop food, water supplies to those fighting in these natural disasters to give them relief the same way it can assist with the citizens of those countries. Consider going to the United Nations Foundation, researching, getting real-time information, stats on current events, and knowing how you can help. Our Moroccan brothers and sisters, we stand with you and the family members that you've lost as a result of the earthquake. Those in Libya dealing with the flooding because the dams broke. And I know my New Orleans brothers and sisters remember that from Hurricane Katrina. Still hard to recover, thinking about how years later residents are impacted. And those in Canada dealing with the still continued battled spreading wildfires. You matter to us at the Power Up. You want to help? UNICEF.org is a great proven resource. They're tested and they're observed by other government entities to make sure that the funds you donate, how you help, is appropriately dispensed. And of course, the United Nations Foundation. Global news is as important to those happening next door because remember, you may have Moroccan neighbors, you might have Libyan co-workers, or even family members in Canada. So we care. Family, consider the United Nations Foundation, unicef.org, and doing your own research into how you can help and write it off during your tax season. We are all one human race. Whatever our outsides appear, our insides are the same. May we help our brothers and sisters across the water because they matter. Our neighbors matter. And all of this news is important. Family, we thank you for the segment where we were able to elevate global news. There's so much more power packed ahead. Stay tuned as we go into our career elevation segment with a special guest. There's more after this.
What's up, family? It's your girl, Terry Y. Hicks of the Amazing Fab Five, and I am here to tell you to tune into the Empowered Morning Show Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the WIN Network.
Welcome back to the Power Up. Family, we're excited on a regular basis to bring expertise from different disciplines, global experts, and perspective and purpose that can help make a difference where you are. We want to welcome to today's Power Up Miss Empress Bay. Empress is an amazing global expert in fashion. She certainly is a celebrity and personal stylist to many. And she hails to us today from the amazing state of Texas. We thank you for joining us, Empress. Welcome to the Power Up.
I think I was on mute. Thank you so much for having me on your amazing show. I'm so grateful to be here. How are you?
All is well on our end. The Power Up is excited because you have such heart and purpose in the earth and expertise that we want to share. We received an interesting question that offered us the hand to reach out to you. One of our reviewers asked about how to get into the fashion industry. This appeared to be a very young viewer because she started by saying, I know what I love, but what are the steps I should take? So, as you delve into how to share advice, we first love to share you with our audience. Please share your expertise, your heart, how you have been able to do it so that you've touched celebrities globally with your skills.
That is a very great question. I feel like y'all are putting me on the spot here, but that's okay. Definitely, first and foremost, I'm all about transparency and vulnerability. And so I actually got started in my career a little like 10 years ago. So it's 2023. So in 2013, I started working with a fashion designer because I wanted to be behind the scenes. I used to model. I didn't really necessarily like modeling, being on the runway. It was a lot for me. And so what I decided was I wanted to be behind the scenes. Hair and makeup aren't necessarily my thing. So, and then photography was a little difficult. So I was like, okay, I'm really good at dressing people. Maybe this will work. So I started working with a fashion designer. And then we worked for about 3 years. And then at the end of 2016, I was diagnosed with lupus. And so for me, I said, okay, everything has to shift in my life. The way I view things, the way I look at things, the way, I look at my career, my life, just all of that good stuff. And I've always known I didn't necessarily want to be someone's assistant. And so that's how the beginning of my career started. In 2017, I ended up working with the school, School of Style, and obtained a personal stylist certification. And so I was like, okay, I'm ready. I want to be a personal stylist. Like, let's go. Let me get in there. I dived in there upon having an illness too. So it definitely was not easy. It's never easy, but I was able to find a holistic doctor as well. So that was a shift in my life and a change in my life. And so I was like, okay, this is going to work. So 2017, I'm working. 2018 is when I started feeling the bug of, okay, I want to style celebrities. I want to work in the entertainment industry. I got this. I feel this industry needs my touch. And so I obtained a fashion stylist certification. I did a lot of fashion shows from Austin to Houston to Dallas. And then I also started working with an online company. So I would have one on one experience of really how to run a business. So 2019 came and I was like, okay, I need a mentor. I can't do this by myself. I'm all over the place. I can't figure out what I want to do, how I want to do it. And so I was able to get myself a mentor. She started assisting me and helping me to set up the foundation. So going into 2020, I felt like I had it all together. My business was going to be amazing. 2020, COVID hit. And so one of my very, very close companions, he said, Empress, you have to really shift and change the trajectory of how you do business and how you do things because nobody's really trying to get dressed. Everybody's sent home. So that's when those online skills, because I was able to work with a virtual company, came in. And I said, okay, I have to work with clients online. That's fine. But towards the end of 2020, I was able to start working with celebrities, dip into the entertainment industry, get to know a couple of celebrities, work with them. Didn't like it. We don't have enough time for me to explain why, but I definitely did not like it because I felt like I was trying to give my personal touch, and entertainment and fashion is just, it's fast. TV, commercial, print, they don't want to necessarily hear like, oh, I want to pour into you and help you get dressed and feel great and get the mind. That's not how that works. And so, I had a couple of hiccups and a couple of bumps and mistakes, By the end of 2021, I depleted all my savings. And so I had to sleep in my car for a little bit, end of 21, beginning of 2022. And I was like, something has to shift. I have kids. I can't do this. I have to figure this out. So going into 2022, I was able to get an apartment. Kudos by the grace of the God, literally by the grace of God. I promise you, none of this has been me. It's all been God. So at the end of 2022, I said, I have to get a job in order to have structure for my household, for my family, but also for my career. And so I was a stylist at Nordstrom, didn't like it there, then became a stylist at Neiman Marcus. And so there I was like, okay, it's luxury, it's cool. I have these clients, I'm making this money, I'm doing this, but I want to do this for Empress. I want to do this for all the people around me. God has given me this big vision of the style life. I have to do this. So I reached out to one of my old mentors, Lauren Messiah, love her to life. And what she did was said, let me help you, mentor you so that you can get your business up, running, the foundation amazing so that you're able to grow. So here we are, 2023, all this time later, business is going, health is always up and down. Earlier this week, I was, sick, but I've learned to fine tune my health to where I'm not as sick as what I used to be. I know how to listen to my body. I know how to rest and stay home. So that helps.
Wow, what a powerful story. So many tips that we're hoping helped our viewers. First, I did hear you share connecting with a mentor. Many times on this show, we often remind individuals that every coach needs a coach and every advisor has an advisor, every pastor a pastor. So certainly every mentor would need a mentor, someone that can help you, support you, and even sometimes push you into where you're trying to go. So thank you for elevating that because that's key. I also want to take a moment to applaud your efforts from homelessness to fighting through lupus, and also listen to making hard career choices, which a lot of folks sadly would say, I'd rather stay in a job I hate because it's a check versus feeling the strength and power to say, I want better and I want to do what's for me. What advice would you give to someone who may be dealing with any type of chronic illness that really isn't happy or needs to make a life shift?
That's a very good question. And I'm so, so, so grateful and honored that you asked that. So, first and foremost, it has to be a strategic decision. Don't just go jump. I'm a jumper. So I'm just like, oh, I don't care. Like I'm jumping, I'm doing this, but that's not necessarily the right decision because then you have to ask people for help to pay bills, stuff like that. So I would definitely first say, make sure your savings account can cover your bills for 3 to 6 months. If you do want to shift your career and just say, I want to become an entrepreneur, make sure your bills can be covered for 3 to 6 months because entrepreneurship takes dedication, it takes hard work, it takes years and years and years of learning lessons, aka mistakes, aka failures, all that good stuff. And you have to have the drive and the willingness to know that this failure is not depletion. It's more of a lesson so that I can get back up and power back up and keep pushing and keep pursuing. Always, the first and foremost thing, you want to have a solid and great spiritual relationship with God because without God, there is no way. I can guarantee you you can't do it by yourself. You have to have God because there is so much in this world that comes down on you hard every single day, from the naysayers to the haters to the frenemies to the fake family to so many people that don't believe. It's a larger group of that than it is people that believe in you because they don't understand the vision you have been given. They don't understand that you really have been given a real purpose to fulfill and you are just walking into it trying to fulfill it. So that's what you definitely want to make sure you have. You want to have a mentor, somebody that's going to be by your side, encouraging you, pushing you, telling you, let's go. And then when you have a little bit of extra money, you want to hire a business coach, because a mentor and a business coach are two different things. A mentor is your powwow, your, hey, I got you, get back up, you got this, and your business coach will do that as well. But the business coach is going to say, okay, we need to make sure this makes sense. We need to make sure this makes you some money so that you're not being homeless, so that you're not having to sleep on the street, sleep in your car, go through all these things. And so those are things you want to have in place. You also want to have a health coach, a doctor, especially if you're experiencing chronic issues like me. Again, I was diagnosed with lupus. That is not something easy to deal with. I still sometimes be like, how can I not eat this? And I was just eating this last month, So it's still, even though I've dealt with it since 2016, it's still a journey for me. It's still me learning my body. It's still me understanding why my body's doing crazy and wonky things. So you want to have a doctor or even a health coach, somebody that is going to be there for you to uplift you while you're on an entrepreneur journey. And then you want to listen to your body. Always, always, always put yourself first, take care of yourself, and listen to your body. Because if you are listening to your body, then you're able to fully understand that your body needs the rest, your body needs the nourishment. Trust me, the money's going to come. The clients are going to come. Don't hustle so hard that you neglect yourself, and then all of a sudden you're not able to fulfill the desired prophecy and dreams and vision that you were given.
Wow. Chocked full of advice. Thank you. I heard you mention making sure that you plan and prepare. Saving 3 to 6 months is powerful advice for anyone. If you know it's something you want to do, prepare to do it so that you can continue in a healthy way. I also thank you for elevating the healthcare factor. Many of us who go on 1,000 all the time neglect ourselves. And there are some just who aren't even business driven necessarily, like those wonderful moms who are taking care of the kids and shopping and caring for mom and dad and run themselves ragged. They're cooking and doing homework and doing hair. And we neglect ourselves automatically for others. So thank you for reminding us that when it comes to a business platform, a business coach, a mentor, and a health coach could certainly be beneficial as well. You certainly have so much in-depth expertise. A lot of it you've learned the hard way or through life's lessons is what I'll say. What do you believe is your drive? Like you've shared in pre-interviews that you've had falls. Why didn't you stay there?
Oh, that's a good question. Come on with the why question. I love it. I feel like my why has changed so much throughout the years of me being an entrepreneur, and just I feel the urge at 3 a.m. If I can just be transparent, it may sound cliche, but when I wake up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., just without an alarm clock, I feel the urge. I feel that spiritual nudge. And it's like that voice saying, guess what, Empress? You got this. Yep, it's not going to be easy. Yep, it's going to hurt. Yep, you're going to have crying. You're going to have pain. You're going to have tears. And for years, I tried to hide all that, push that away like, oh, I'm fine. But in this season, when I started purging habits, when I started purging friendships, family members, all of that, and started gaining a closer connection and better relationship with God, God's voice just kept speaking and speaking and speaking and speaking. And Empress, you got this. It's okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to have failures. It's okay to have mistakes. They don't understand. They don't have to understand. This is a vision that I've given you, and you're going to fulfill it. There's no other choice. There's no other way. And so for me, that is what really, really gives me drive. Hearing that voice at 3 and 4 a.m., like, okay, I got this. Knowing, I have pictures of my grandma, my aunt, and two of my aunts, they passed away, so those are my ancestors covering me, watching me, pushing me, like letting me know I got this. So anybody else who doesn't believe in me, they don't matter. And I had to learn that literally in this season, all these years of me going on this journey. has definitely it's been a journey. And so just knowing that I have that, nobody else matters. I have my kids who believe in me. Sometimes they have their moments, but they believe in me and they need me. And I want to have generational wealth, something to pass to them so that they can pass to their kids. And, serving through style is a part of my purpose. you know it's a mission. It's being able to speak life into women who didn't believe in themselves and telling them, hey, guess what, I didn't feel good either this week, but I was able to get dressed. This is making me feel better. Having this amazing personal style, putting my looks together is what makes me feel better.
Certainly walking in your purpose, Miss Empress. Wow. A family, there are some facts that you won't hear in this short interview segment with this powerful executive and leader. You'll see on the screen, you're welcome to touch base and tap into her expertise with thestylelife.com. And then she's also on social media platforms. Empress, I've heard your story. I told you there's so much more I can't wait to read when your book is finally released. But I also know you to be an advocate because you care about others. There's advocates in many forums. Here on the Power Up, we share regularly, especially during this important Suicide Prevention Month, the awareness and how important it is to advocate how life matters. In these last few moments that we have with you, speak to our folks who might be in a place where they can't see what you're seeing. They don't see how the vision can be fulfilled and might actually be in a place where it just hurts and they don't think they can move forward. As an advocate, what would you share?
So I'm a huge mental health awareness advocate because for me in 2015, I dealt with the episode of having major, major suicidal thoughts. I had lost an aunt, I had lost my grandmother, I had a bad breakup, you know, I started feeling sick, didn't know what was going on in my body before I was diagnosed with the lupus. And I felt like my whole entire world was just caving in. I felt like there was nowhere to lean. I was extremely hopeless. I had nowhere to go. I can feel the goosebumps because I'm like, I remember that moment, and it was such a powerful moment of me really just saying, do I really want to do this and leave my kids? So I called the suicide hotline. And I spoke with someone for 4 hours, and they were able to just really just talk to me. They were able to listen to me. For me, that's something that's just extremely valuable because sometimes people will listen and they're ready to give you advice. But when you're in a moment of really wanting to harm yourself, like that's deep. And so you just want somebody to listen and not talk over you and not speak over you. And that's all she did. She listened. She gave me some resources. And then I also ended up calling my companion. He didn't know what was going on. He didn't know, I was going to commit suicide. I told him 2 or 3 months later, but he listened. And that's when he barely knew me, but he listened. And so for me, a great listening ear just put me back in the momentum of, you don't have to harm yourself. You don't have to commit suicide. You really don't want to do this. And so that put me back on the scale and on a schedule of, guess what? I have to pour in myself daily. I have to, really do a lot of work on myself every single day. I've been in therapy now consistently for 18 months. I have a therapist. And then me and my kids, we go to family therapy because it's that important for me to literally work on my mental health because suicide isn't okay, yeah, this person wanted to commit suicide, it went away. No, depression and anxiety stick with you. They stay with you until you're really able to hone them and heal all of the things within yourself to get that depression out of you, to get that anxiety out of you. So it's a lot. It's a strong battle. But whoever's out there, and if you're listening to this message, don't give up. Take that moment and call the suicide hotline because they'll talk to you, and that's a first step towards your healing. It's a lifetime journey and it's not easy, but there definitely is a lot of help out there. Send me an inbox. I'm willing to talk to you.
Thank you so much for your continued advocacy. Family, Miss Empress Bay. Seeking a celebrity stylist, a personal stylist, just want to get a fashion mentor for yourself? Go to thestylelife.com. That's Lyfe, and reach out to her on social media platforms. If you are someone who felt touched by Empress's message, mental health does matter. It's just as important as physical, financial, social, any other health you want to focus on. Where your mind is where your heart is. Family, if you need assistance, please tap into the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. They are there to help. Thank you so much, Empress, for sharing your story, for being transparent, and most important, for making a difference in the earth. We're grateful to have you on the Power Up today. Family, stay tuned. There's more after this.
Good morning. Marshall Weeks here with you on Financial Friday. Do we really believe God loves us, or are we too focused on how much we love God? Deuteronomy 31:8 tells us God will never leave us nor forsake us, meaning he will never leave us physically or neglect us emotionally. He is concerned about our physical, mental, and emotional health. So why are we distracted by short-term financial problems when we serve a long-term, permanent, solutions-oriented God? Did we reach out to him first before we borrowed the money? Did we give him the opportunity to whisper in one of his angels' ears to sponsor us or pay for us? Did we discuss the job offer with him, or did we jump at the opportunity to make an extra $2 an hour doing double the work when he gave us the business idea, wanting to grow and stretch us, fine-tune our self-discipline so we could handle the multi-million-dollar dynasty and be his channel to bless others on their life journey? How quickly are we to say without saying, "I got this, God. Let me call you back"? Then when we realize our limited vision and short-term solution cause some long-term problems. Let us not grow tired of seeking him on every financial decision, and let us never forget that our focus should always be on how much he loves us. So when our back is up against the wall, we know we have a Father who will always cause us to triumph on the other side of the challenge. We need to consider it pure joy to go through God's process on the way to financial blessings rather than to suffer the consequences of a bad financial decision. You've been empowered because you should prosper.
Welcome back to the Power Up, where we equip, educate, empower, and elevate you to make a difference where you are. We've discussed global news and even responded to viewer question with an expert to give advice. During this new segment, our national spotlight, we're going to discuss the fact that there is a looming government shutdown, how it impacts you, and why it's important. It's important because we want to make sure that education is shared truthfully and our citizens are not just given information according to bias. So the Power Up team has come together to make sure that you understand that government shutdowns occur when policymakers fail to enact legislation to fund the federal government by the end of its fiscal year, which is September 30th. That will impact museums, it will impact the military, it impacts the Capitol police officers, it impacts those who are funded federally across the nation and even the world. The legislation is a form of 12 appropriations of bills, and they're processed through the Appropriations Committee in Congress. Lawmakers may also choose to pass a temporary bill that's called a continuing resolution if they can't come together and make sure that what's prioritized and agreed upon has the votes to prevent a shutdown. Government shutdowns are costly. It may be counterintuitive, but government shutdowns are expensive because a government shutdown means it's pausing programs that can assist those of us who need them, including our seniors, those who might be homeless or need assistance through other federal funding, and eventually may have a hold until those funds are released. There are local nonprofit agencies who receive federal funds to run programs like Meals on Wheels, aftercare programs, even some subsidized housing. Most recently, the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations found that the last three government shutdowns cost taxpayers, you ready for this? Nearly $4 billion. That's with a B. And the problem is that it also furloughs federal workers. So those who might be your regular neighbors that go to work for local industries or local government entities, your Department of Justice, your Department of Social Services, maybe your Social Services Administration, where you're trying to get your Social Security card, maybe change your name because you just got married. All of this that's federally funded impacts you. We're taking this moment on this national spotlight because many individuals don't think about federal funding until it hits the news every September. Can Congress put a budget forward that everyone can agree on, both sides of the aisles, to get funded the essential programs and services, our military being number one? How do they get impacted? Our IRS, those tax bureaus, all of the things that you're doing to make sure your life runs effectively, smoothly, motor vehicle transportation, family. If it's federally funded, what happens during a furlough is something that no one should have to constantly feel, but we want to address. Do you know that during these times, sometimes volunteers and those who work have anxiety? They deal with mental health impacts. We want to talk about it today. A prior guest reminded us of how important mental health is to health care. So during the time of possible furloughs, we want to remind folks, even if you're impacted, I've been impacted twice by a furlough. The last one happened during the Christmas holiday, and we didn't get paid for multiple months. So, what do you think we do? We're now in need of the food bank or of other local resources, those churches that can help, those grassroots agencies that have other funds that aren't federal, all because those we vote into office can't seem to agree. So, first, we want to give you information on how you can make a difference. Please go to house.gov and identify, locate your representative for your area. Send them a communication, send them a feeling, call them and let them know I voted you into office and this is what I feel. Make your voice count. If you don't know who your representative is, when you go to house.gov, there's a link that takes you to representatives. where you can locate your constituent. Also, Senate.gov will help you identify your U.S. Senator. It's the website for the U.S. Senate. Also available to resources for how you can reach your constituents that are your senators. Responsible, because remember, once the bill passes the House, it then goes to the Senate. Those you vote into office. Ultimately, then goes to the president to either approve or veto. Again, your elected official. Do you see how your voice and your vote have power here? Consider how you can tap into your constituent to share your voice, share your frustration, share your awareness, and push them to do the right thing. House.gov and Senate.gov will help you locate who you voted for that is in your area that's responsible for your vote. For those who may have to deal with a furlough, we just want to prepare. Listen, when you prepare for the worst, you can hope for the best, but then you're not dealing with the impacts and the frustration of not being prepared. We want to remind you that there are many tips that you should consider during this preparation time. September 30th, right? That's the end of the fiscal year. Prior to that date, Congress must either pass a continuing resolution with certain things funded, which means those that are not funded will be furloughed. In other words, not paid. So these are your neighbors, your church members, those in your local grocery store. These are the parishioners that you know, those who assemble at your mosque, whatever your faith, those who you just see on the bus and the metro. They are those in the community, just like you. If you are impacted by a furlough, there are some tips we want to share with you today to help sustain your physical, financial, and mental health. First, continue to move and exercise. Don't allow depression to take its place so that you can no longer function to be the most amazing you possible. In your preparation phase, make healthcare scheduled. If you get up at 8 o'clock to get on the bus and for some reason you're furloughed, get up at 8 o'clock and go on the walk. Consider getting in a routine that will help you stay healthy. Financially, start saving now. And consider this, if you're a federal employee or a federal contractor, consider knowing that September is going to come every year. So don't wait until now to start preparing. How can you make a furlough account so that you are furlough proof and your life can continue with the rent being paid, with your groceries, with your health insurance, with your car note, with whatever impacts your life? Preparation is key. Make sure that you stay as positive as possible and surround yourself with positivity in moments of mental stress. It's not going to feel good to not know when your next check is coming. The same way many don't feel good on a regular basis who are job seekers and who get laid off from their jobs. It's hard because that is a traumatic impact on your life. Family, you have the power. Get equipped with the resources around you that can help you through the tough moment. Be educated on who I need to call to make some noise because this is just not okay. It doesn't just impact me, but Social Security. Figure out how you can empower those around you to stand for change, to be part of your civic association, to make local laws or local decisions on how you can prepare local food banks to take the impact they might receive, and then elevate yourself, your mind, your life to be the difference. We hope this national spotlight was helpful. One thing we will share here is news and truth to empower you to make a difference. Family, stay tuned as we go into our wrap up. There's more after this.
Hi, guys. It's Tina Wynn, your host of the podcast, You See Me. I want you guys to stay encouraged, continue to come out and see me, and most importantly, see yourselves. Remember, the only way that you can truly enjoy life is to see other people so that you can enjoy the beauty of seeing yourself. Come join me Saturdays at 4 on the We Empowered Network. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami. Wow, what a super informative, power packed hour. One thing we prioritize is resource sharing. We spoke today on a global platform, sharing our heart and thoughts with those across the water that still matter here as our neighbors and brothers and sisters. Our heart continues to elevate for those who are dealing with the earthquake in Morocco, where over 3,000 individuals have been deceased. 6-point earthquake, and they didn't see it coming. Our hearts also extend to those in Libya, where flooding, the breaking of 2 dams in that country, wiped out towns. Over 20,000 individuals are either confirmed dead or lost, still being sought for by family members. My goodness. And to our Canadian brothers and sisters who months later are still trying to deal and live through wildfires that rage, not just dealing with the blasts and the fact that they're losing natural land, but that they're breathing in the air. How can you help? UNICEF.org is a viable resource we share where you can donate, you can learn more information about not just these natural disasters around the world, but other humanitarian efforts. Give, care, pray. Also, the United Nations Foundation, where they are the global pioneer, where they bring leadership from countries all together to come up with global policies and practices to help all of us, this one human race. Also, we were glad to be joined today by the amazing Miss Empress Bay, executive and CEO, fashion pioneer, a celebrity stylist, and personal stylist. You can reach her at thestylelife.com. Miss Empress is also an amazing advocate for mental health awareness, sharing her personal story, how she promotes speaking and calling the National Suicide Lifeline when you find yourself in need. Those who are in a place where you might feel broken doesn't mean this has to be the end. There is someone ready to listen and care. Thank you, Empress, for your transparency and your passionate heart that you shared as you responded to one of our inquiries from a viewer. Then we went into our national spotlight. There's a looming government shutdown. That means that it's quite possible folks won't get paid. And it's all because a budget can't be reached by those we put into office. I'm not asking if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Because if a furlough happens, that won't matter either. It's going to impact multiple programs, services, things we need and use on a daily basis. House.gov will take you to your representative, your U.S. representative that you voted into office, will help you identify who you need to call, write, advocate, share your thoughts. Let them know this needs immediate attention. And the same way you put them in office is the same way you can take them out. Also, Senate.gov will help you identify your U.S. senator. As the bills are prepared in the House of Representatives, they must then go to the Senate for a vote as well. Your senators you voted into office. This is a national concern and of national urgency. Remember, it's not just about programs that you might disagree with. It's about our seniors, our military, the boys and girls that rely on after school activities. Our kids matter. It's about so many programs you might not know receive federal funding, but impact you and your community just the same. You ask how you can make a difference? Reach out to your constituents, elevate your voice, and then on a local platform, figure out what you and your community can do as leaders to prepare and to plan so that you're better as a city, a town, a county, a state to take any impact the federal furlough might cause, because they're still taxpayers that are impacted, even if it's not you. We care here, no bias, human race, of which we all are one. Remember that if you are impacted by a furlough, your mental health matters. Remember, there are things you can prepare for in your home. You can practice throughout a year, a budget. You can practice how you can make exercise and physical activity a priority. And most importantly, surrounding yourself with positivity. Hurt hurts no matter the cause. How you bounce back, your resilience, how you overcome is what will help empower you and those around you so that young folks who might be furloughed in the future can watch how you deal with this and learn the right way to take care of mama, grandma, when they have to then care for you. Family, this show was so packed with information. We hope you were equipped and educated on not just the global and national news, but how you matter, where you are, what you're facing. Stay motivated and affirm yourself every day that it's not the situation, but how you handle the situation that makes you the better person. Oftentimes, life can knock the wind out of you. You might be burying a loved one. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe your boo is a different situation right now. Sometimes life just hurts. We put a lot of stake in people validating us. And then when those folks aren't there, we fall apart. We want to leave you with this thought. You are so powerful that everything in front of you is great and waiting for you. They say that there's a blessing with your name on it. That means that there's so much you haven't encountered. You probably can't even imagine at this phase in life. That's going to be phenomenal if you just hold on, if you just keep going, if you just don't quit. Families, stay powerful in those moments when you might feel it's different, the change, things are happening, it's unfamiliar. That's okay. You're not where you were 20 years ago. You're not even that toddler who's falling down and standing up again, learning how to walk, even though life might have you in a position where a start over has to take place. Know that that gives you an opportunity to stand up, to show up, to rise up, to be something brand new. Maybe come out of your comfort zone. Consider obliterating that box. No more box. I'm not going to be in the box anymore. I'm ready to embrace all that God has for me. I promise once you get there mentally, everything else follows forward. Connect with those mentors, connect with an advisor, connect with somebody that's doing it and that you see rocking doing it so that you can be successful as they are. Learn from them. And I promise not only will you grow in information, now you've got someone else to do that journey with. Knowledge is power. What are you doing to grow in the moment when it's tough? But also, you have the power to not let the circumstance change you, but you change the circumstance. In other words, whether it feels good or not, you have the ability to elevate, to rise in it, and then to show yourself strong. Excuse me, what you believe in, what will help you. Remember the daily affirmations, the people you connect yourself with, those who are positive and can pour into you. Oh, you pour into others. Pardon me. This show has me so choked up. Family, once again, our hearts go to all who are in a place where growth is happening. This is what we want you to do. Stay focused, renew, refocus, revive, refresh, start over, and go be great. Thank you for joining the Power Up today. We're excited to always thank our military, our veterans, those first responders who put yourself in harm's way just for us, including our medical professionals on the front line, in hospitals, who care compassionately about our loved ones, and even when we show up in the ER or scared because of a diagnosis. Thank you for all you do to pour into us and to care on the front lines. Family, stay powerful, stay resilient, stay purposed, stay focused, limit distractions, including these, because the most important conversation you will ever have is what you say to you. Make your voice louder than the haters, and don't worry about the dust that people kick up, because they're going to get dirty too. It's all about being that rose that grows out of the dirt. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to our Power Up team and family. We look forward to seeing you next time.